Hi, my name's Haley and I'm the owner of the Mary Moore Boutique. I want to get better at doing YouTube videos. I love making videos. If you look at my channel, kind of sporadically posted through the past. So I want to be better at that. I want to use December as a time to do it. I don't know that I'll be following the trend in December to do something every day, but I'm sure gonna try to do a lot more because so many exciting things are happening. Just to do a brief overview and then I'll kind of like go into things, but I am a wife, a dog mom to 2 rescues. I just closed on a house with my husband, so we're going to be in the process of moving and organizing. And then I have an online boutique that I am trying to really grow. And then I also work full time. So lots of things going on, but I thought I would kind of make this more of a about me video, so you can kind of get to know my story. So that way, as we go through this process together, you have a little bit more of a background. So try to make this as short as possible. But I went to school for fashion merchandising and design. Always knew like I wanted to work in fashion and do that. Actually, Cruella de Vil, and 101 Dalmatians as a cartoon movie. I would say like that is when I was a kid, like that made me want to be a fashion designer, just seeing the sketches and her fashion. I remember doing like drawings in black and white of her looks. I have those somewhere, but I think that's what started it, and my love of black. I just loved to wear black. So anyways, I graduated and I worked in product development. I worked on the supplier side, on the .com side of things, and I actually went for the dream, and I ended up opening up my own storefront after being online only for a couple years. I did online and on the side of my full-time job and did like shows and events, and then just with life decided to go for it, and I moved back to my hometown, opened my storefront May 2019. It was in downtown Springfield, Missouri, and things were going good for a new business. I was definitely doing like everything I could to make it successful, and unfortunately, like I said, I opened May 2019, so less than a year later, COVID hit, and unfortunately, like it was a lot to handle. I had to be closed for almost 2 months, and just get like very creative on what to do. And it was super tough, but it's just every business owner for that time, like it was just a hard time. And like I said, had to be very creative on what to do for sales. So I would say by September of last year, like I knew I was wanting to go ahead and just close my storefront. I could see quickly like things weren't getting back to normal like we had hoped. I think we thought like, oh, we'll go in lockdown and then things will be okay. Obviously, we're ending 2021. That's still not the case. So I talked to my landlord and he was like, that's great, but you're in a 3-year lease. So until we find someone to take that over, you're stuck in it. So that was not fun to hear, but thankfully, someone was actually interested in the space as an office. So I did get out of my lease the end of last December. And actually, I've been by that space recently and it is for lease still. I don't know what happened, like the sign was gone and it's been back for quite some time. So something fell through or whatnot, because now it is for lease. But anyways, thank goodness I got out of it and moved out end of December. During that time, I actually started looking for a job back in Arkansas. That's where we had moved and lived before, and just loved the area. It's growing crazily. And so I got very, very fortunate. Again, I think with the times, I found a job that was contracted and basically all work from home. So I was actually able to start that like mid-November last year and do that while I was like closing down the shop, which was like such a blessing to start having like a consistent paycheck while, you know, things were going. So that was very, very great to have. And then my husband got a job back down here as well. And so we moved in January. So we closed the store, then moved, started jobs. I was still like working from home really. He started going into work, and then February, he's in the military. He got called off to go help with vaccines. So the summer before, he was gone doing mask missions, like having to run masks to hospitals and whatnot. And then from February through May, he was gone to do vaccines throughout Missouri. So we definitely didn't expect that. If we had known that was gonna happen, I would have just stayed with my family back in Missouri and saved on rent money, since I didn't like ever really need to go in the office, but it's all good. So yeah, that was crazy. And in February, I also like tried to jump back into doing the online side. And so there were a couple of weeks where I was like doing the weekly new arrivals and trying to do live videos again. And, you know, it was still really slow. Plus it was February. And I think just with all the changes, I was quickly like, I need a break. Like, this is too soon. And so really, I've just taken a big step back this year. Last August, when I still had my storefront, I was fortunate to find a new boutique that was opening. That was like a marketplace where she had several different boutiques and small businesses in her store. And so, and it was in a great location in my hometown. So I actually got a space with her while I still had my store. And it was crazy because a lot of times, like, most of my sales were coming from this tiny square footage of stuff that I had at her shop versus my store. So that was helpful. A month or 2 months later, I got into another one that was similar on another side of town. So basically I had 3 spaces in my town that people could go to just to like have a chance to make sales. And it was just a good move on my part, and just very, very helpful to be able to like make, pay the bills by having that extra income coming through. But also to see, because when you have your own store, like, especially I would say like with COVID too, like my location just ended up not being as good as I thought it would be. And I can do like separate videos on all of that, my learning lessons, but it definitely just wasn't as good as I thought. And so the other stores had just more foot traffic, were better locations. But anyways, so I kept those 2 spots, and then going into 2021, I ended up flipping one spot and going into a new one. It was like a boutique had been there for like over 10 years. And the girl that was in the first one, she went into business with 2 others, so it's 3, what do you even call that, 3 partners? And unfortunately, like, things didn't go great in that sense. And that one just, I hate to say mistake, everything is like a learning lesson, but I wish I hadn't gone into that one, just because it ended up being a lot more work than I planned. And the rent was so much higher, like it just wasn't worth it compared to my sales. And I also couldn't like display my branding above my stuff like I do at my others. So like people wouldn't know that it was from my shop unless they like looked at the hang tag. And also the store didn't like promote or share my items like on their social media versus the other 2 did. So it just wasn't a great fit. Unfortunately, I signed like a 6-month lease with them. So as soon as that was done, I was out of there and back into the first one for a few months.